Hello there. I am so glad that you could be here today. My name's Rich, channel's called New Memphis, and I hope you guys like what I've done with the background. It only made sense to have Drive and Hotline Miami next to one another. Today we're painting a bundle of burly men in power armor, determined to loot, sack, and raise their way across the galaxy and look fabulous while doing it. These minis specifically came from the Blackstone Fortress box set, which I still haven't finished painting, but we're a little bit closer with these 3 done. Only like 90 more to go. And let's look up the names here. 2 Chaos Space Marines and Obsidious Malix Chaos Lord. Good God. See, this is why I like Age of Sigmar better. It's still fun, but doesn't take itself so goddamn seriously all the time. But today we're celebrating Warhammer 40k. So let's see what we can do to make some beautiful Chaos Space Marines. A word of warning ahead of time, I am gonna skip over the actual painting of the bases, just because I've covered it like in 3 other videos. As for the models themselves, I would like to take a little bit of inspiration from a model that we previously painted, or 3. These little spindle drones that I absolutely am in love with. These were super simple, just a spray of black primer from below, a chrome spray paint I got for cheap at the hardware store, like really cheap, and then a black wash for the actual body of the models. But back to our Chaos Space Marines. Starting out, these models have some large bases that I want to make a bit more dynamic. I think we can accomplish that using some of these spare parts I've been keeping for a rainy day. If you've ever painted a Warhammer model, God knows you have 1,000 extra weapon arms lying around. And I have even more since I didn't use 2 of the Beastman models from Blackstone Fortress. But don't worry, they were put to a very, very noble cause. God, I feel like this whole channel has just become me clapping Beastmen for fun. Anyway, weapon arms. We're gonna see if we can use those to make the bases more dynamic, since there's something that we have a lot of lying around. So once I got the pieces snipped, I glued them on with some Tamiya extra thin plastic cement to make sure that they absolutely hold tight, and making sure that they were arranged in a way to add a little bit more movement and help the models look dynamic, because they're a bit static on their own. Now, I will say the first problem I had with this chrome spray that you might see as well is that I basically couldn't see any of the details below the chrome. It just completely smothered them out. So I had to then add a black wash so I could have shadows to see where the detail was in order to paint it. So if you do something similar, that's something you'll definitely want to keep in mind. But like I said, a quick black wash took care of that, and I was able to see the detail relatively well. Experimenting once again, I want to bring back the combination of Screamer Pink and Carroburg Crimson we used last week on our Tyranid Necromancer. We'll paint that across the flat armor panels, trying to avoid the recesses and any areas we want to stay silver. Next, we'll use a little London Grey on areas such as Malix's hammer and on the Chaos Space Marines holsters. And it was at this point that I realized I didn't actually crack open my beer. Give me just a second. How can we have started the project? It's the extra basing, I think, just had me confused. And yeah, I could refilm this. I could redo my intro entirely, but where's the fun in that? Come on, guys. Fuck ups happen. Wait, tilt the glass, damn it. Love Fat Tire. Love it. God, if they were my first sponsor on this channel, that would be amazing. We were painting miniatures, right? Anyway, we're going to want these capes and cloaks nice and bright later, so we'll start off base coating them in white. Then we'll use Vallejo Buff for the skin of the Marines themselves, and our victims in the ice. Continuing with the capes, we'll coat them with Amaranth Red. German extra dark green is required to make an appearance in all of my videos, so we'll use that for the sleeves of the buried arms. I like to think they're frozen guardsmen. Breaking out the Carroburg crimson once again, we'll use that to shade all of the areas we painted pink earlier. I always keep a black and a brown wash on hand made from acrylic ink, water, and a medium of choice. We'll use the brown wash on all of the skin to make it look a bit more realistic. We'll go back to our pink mix and touch up the armor panels again. Then we'll add highlights of uncut Screamer Pink to a slightly smaller area. Unfortunately, we had to deal with model breaking once again this week. In this case, Malix's top knot broke off while I was painting. And while I was priming. And months ago when I was building the model. And under normal circumstances, I would be the first one to preach patience and saving the model, but I gotta be honest, I really don't like this part. Yes, the top knot does give him extra height, which helps to distinguish the model, but I don't personally like it, so I'm just going to get rid of it and we'll move on without it. Coming back a few days later, I used silver to highlight the areas I didn't think were bright enough, which was most of the armor actually. Though once again I made sure to leave the recessed areas alone. I'm also going to add highlights to the weapons coming out of the base, which really makes them pop. We'll then mix our Amaranth Red with a tiny amount of white to do some further highlights on the capes and cloaks. Then we'll mix white with a bit of water to lighten up the sigil on Malix's hammer and his plasma pistol. We'll add a bit of royal blue to our white and once again trace the sigil. Then use a small dot of pure blue in the center and try to spread it out just a bit into the grooves. The last step will be the fur on Malix's armor, which I'll start by coloring black. Dry brushing won't work on an area this small with so many other areas I could hit, so I'll add the highlights off screen and you guys will be able to see them in the big reveal. You guys are amazing. The channel is continuing to grow, slowly but steadily. I'm trying to repeat that to myself. Next week, we're painting up the Beastmen, also from the Blackstone Fortress box, and then the Rogue Psychers after that. So, look forward to that. I hope you guys stick around, and let's get on to the big reveal. I hope you enjoy. So, as is tradition on this channel, I'm going to say 2 things that I like about this project and 1 thing that I want to improve on next time. The first thing that I think went really, really well is just obviously the extra basing pieces. Those weapon arms, which I always have so many of in Warhammer, look absolutely great. They add so much extra movement, they add so much extra... I don't know, they just add to the chaos flair of just having someone buried in ice, and it was such a simple little thing. Just snipping them off and gluing them on in the right angle. Super simple, you guys could totally copy that at home, and it looked great. Second thing, I think that the combination Screamer Pink and Carroburg Crimson still looks great. I'm not 100% sure that we would not have gotten a similar result by just painting in Screamer Pink itself and then shading with Carroburg Crimson. So take it with a grain of salt, you know, perhaps next time that's just what I'll do. But still, the combination did look really, really good. The models do look good, for the most part. They're not my favorite, but Space Marines usually aren't, so I might be biased in that. No offense to my Space Marine fans, I'm sorry. I don't prefer Stormcast Eternals. I'm not a fan of either, if that makes you feel better at all. As for one thing I want to do better later, the spray, the chrome spray, wasn't great. It does look good on some of the weapons, actually. I actually might make a point of using it on like larger pieces, things with a lot more flat area. The main issue I had was that it just wasn't bright enough and it required so many highlights that I almost would have rather just painted it silver after priming it in black anyway. I mean, Vallejo silver is so much brighter anyway, I kind of may as well have just done that. I don't know, but also, again, a lot of people don't like painting, so for those of you who don't, I think the chrome spray black primer from the bottom, and then a black wash if you're doing like Necrons or some really, really basic Space Marines could still work out really, really well. So feel free to try that. If you do, let me know the results. I would actually love to know how it looks for you and if you're happy with the models you have at the end. That is it. That is all I have. All I can say from here is that, first of all, beer's catching up to me. Shocking though this may be, if you watch this channel, I've actually been drinking less since I started this because it's kind of eating into my time in a good way. So it's, yeah, wow. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Thank you for all your continued support, especially I've noticed a couple of you guys who do make a point of trying to comment on all my stuff. Helps out with the algorithm. You guys are amazing, can I just say? Like, thank you so much for that support. It means so much to know there's people in my corner as I am trying to get the channel noticed. And it's just really, really great. And I'm happy that you guys are here. And like I said, I hope this channel can be something special. So, I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Yeah.